I was born and raised in Orlando, Florida. So welcome coming back. And I do love the idea that you're coming back and you're going to be putting a couple roots down back here again, as someone who, I think there's an advantageous to be here, at least closer to the university when doing a role like this. So I do appreciate it. You talked in your opening statement, but also a little bit afterwards about the athletic program. And I think that's a great selling tool for the university, right? We see them on TV. We see them doing well, especially in basketball. Even football, they've had, a couple bowl games recently. So the idea that the athletic program is a driver in terms of getting the attention to the school. And ultimately now the school has to deal with that attention, right? Because they're going to have more people applying and how to deal with it. And you talked recently about the housing, which I do agree is a major piece that needs to get done. But one of my issues with UConn and the athletic program is the lack of a real conference that they're in, right? So, because ultimately that does is it generates money, right? The conference helps you generate money in terms of TV deals and other things. Currently, UConn I think the last 3 years has lost, about 110, 120 million. I'm rounding. It's like 50 million, 30 million, and 30 million over the last 3 years. Their athletic program has lost, partly because they don't have that conference that they're tied to, that they can get that revenue. I know you said about NIL, you're not an expert yet on that, but I'm just curious your thoughts on, as a businesswoman, as a successful businesswoman, like how, when you're running a deficit like that, how to try to make up that deficit. Because ultimately that deficit is coming from somewhere, and it's coming from the taxpayers, potentially in the state of Connecticut.
I think once I get on the board, because I'm not completely knowledgeable of all these circumstances, I will be able to answer that question and be able to give better strategic directives than I can right now.
I appreciate that. I'm on the housing committee too. I'm a ranking member on the housing committee. So my ears perked up when you're talking about housing, because I don't think anyone disagrees that, especially with the news recently of not being able to guarantee 4 years of housing at UConn, that they need more housing. I think a lot of it's going to come from outside, right? I don't think UConn can do it all themselves. They can add some dorms, but I went to Penn State University and we only guaranteed 2 years of housing on campus, and everything else is done outside. And again, Happy Valley State College, Pennsylvania, it's the middle of nowhere, right? There's nothing else there besides the university, but they know that when you build it, people come. So if you build those apartment buildings, people will take them. So my question to you, as someone who's in the real estate, down in Florida, is how can we incentivize? What can we do maybe as a legislature that could help maybe incentivize people to come in and want to build those apartment buildings that are closer to the campus, to hopefully give that room so that UConn could grow? Because you're right, UConn can grow, and this popular, and the fact that we can get housing, we build it, people will come. So what's your thought process on that in terms of incentivizing folks to come in and try to build around the campus, on land around there?
I believe that the land, if University of Connecticut were to mirror a developer with the land, purchasing of the land, that process, obviously a qualified developer, someone who actually can go vertical very quickly, I think that will make a significant change in how much housing is built around campus. So I think land grants or some funding in partnership with the developer can go a very, very far away, because you'll start seeing things.
With the effort and it could be turned around fairly quickly. Yeah. It's not a 10, 20-year process. It could be turned around pretty quick with the right investments and the right support from the legislature, maybe to help them, but also to get the right investors in there to build those units. So hopefully that can help. Hopefully you can come in and kickstart that and get it going. I'm sure the UConn in general will love it. I think the state of Connecticut would love it. So best of luck. Congratulations for coming in, and look forward to working with you down the road.
Thank you.
Thank you.